politics. First, the highlights. Atiku Abubakar and the leadership of the People's Democratic Party march at the national headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Abuja, in protest of what they call a flawed presidential election, demand justice. APC Professional Women Council from Kogi Central jubilates over presidential and National Assembly elections, use opportunity to urge the people to vote the party in the coming governorship election. Plus, ahead of the governorship elections, Labour Party endorses Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State. Warm welcome to the program. I'm Millicent Walker in Lagos. And the last is yet to be heard of the outcome of the presidential election as the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, and the vice presidential candidate, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, as well as other PDP leaders, lead a protest march to the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Abuja. The takeoff point was the Legacy House, Abuja, where party supporters converged this morning to express their disappointment over the non-upload of the presidential results on the IRF platform. The PDP candidate had earlier condemned the process leading to the victory of the APC candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The PDP, among other demands, is asking INEC to cancel the elections, maintaining that the process was heavily compromised. Well, our correspondent, Emperor Simon, who is covering the protest, joins me now about the latest there. Emperor, there seems to be unexpected demonstrations after the results of the presidential election was announced. Talk to us about the situation.
Well, as we earlier reported, protesters started gathering at the Legacy House as early as 9 o'clock in the morning. And at exactly 11 p.m., 11 a.m., I beg your pardon, the protesters hit the street with the PDP presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, leading the protest. And after more than 15 minutes, what you see right now behind me are the protesters in front of INEC headquarters, who are here with various placards with various inscriptions, and their leaders are speaking. Some of them are carrying placards that are saying, INEC, we say no to election rigging. INEC, keep your promise. It's time for change, and several other kinds of placards that they're carrying. And their demands are quite visible. We can see from their mood, from their tone, even from their dressing, the fact that they are not happy with the outcome of the 2023 presidential election. So right now, the protesters are in front of the INEC national headquarters here in Abuja. They are about to start addressing the crowd, and particularly the INEC officials.
Emperor, talk to us, because we also see that, most of them are wearing black, and then there's also another color, blue. Who else? I know you mentioned the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party there, but who are the other faces, names and voices making the demands there?
Yeah, so first to start with their dressing. The black, of course, signifies the fact that they are in sorrow. They may not be mourning the death of anyone, but they are sad. The fact is that they all expected, perhaps, that the 2023 presidential election would turn out in their favor. But to their maybe disappointment, the result came out and it went the other way around. And so the black color shirts they're wearing is to show their sadness, their dissatisfaction with the entire process that panned out. And so you can also hear from their tone, from their voices, the fact that they are not happy with what has happened, how that the results didn't come out in their favor, and they are here to express their dissatisfaction. They are here to express, their lack of happiness, I beg your pardon, towards what has happened. But we have the PDP, the former PDP National Publicity Secretary, who would tell us more about what their demands are. I first would like you to introduce yourself to our listeners or viewers out there.
My name is Kola Ologbondiyan. I was formerly the spokesperson of the party. Well, we are not expressing disaffection that we were not declared. No. We are expressing disaffection over the fraud that Mahmoud Yakubu supervised. This is different from the issue of disaffection. We are saying that our country must not be taken to this low level in which we cannot even elect those who will govern us. That is the point that the PDP is making. And we are saying that Mahmoud Yakubu promised Nigerians that he will review the election collation during the collation process. He said he would review because our party agents were insisting on the misdemeanors that were contained in the results that were being declared. And he promised Nigerians that he would review it. He never reviewed it.
But on Thursday, when Mr. Atiku Abubakar briefed the press, he did indicate his intention to approach the court. Isn't this a contradiction to that, saying that your party had already taken the decision to approach the court? Why this protest today?
There is no contradiction. There's nothing contradictory about coming out to express this protest. It's nothing contradictory. And as far as Nigerians are concerned, Nigerians are in support of this action. And mind you, from even the INEC result as declared, what percentage of Nigerians were declared to have elected the so-called president-elect? What's the percentage? So for us, we have come to INEC to register the fact that the fraud that they have committed will not stand.
Is it that you don't believe that the judiciary, you don't believe in the judiciary any longer?
You don't judge a book by its cover. Certainly you know that. You cannot judge a book by its cover. When we get to the court, we will judge the system when we get there. But for now, we have come to express our protest to Mahmoud Yakubu. And even in a decent society, in any decent society, is Mahmoud Yakubu supposed to be in office at this hour?
So what exactly do you want the INEC chairman to do?
Review the results the way he promised when he was collating the results, that he would do a review at the end of the collation. He has not done the review until he made a declaration. So we are telling him to fulfill his own promises, even though we know that by his nature and by his entity, he cannot stand by the truth. You understand?
Isn't this coming late, seeing that already a certificate of return has been issued to the APC, candidates?
It's not coming late. There's no law that says that you cannot protest at any point. Is there any law in Nigeria that says you cannot express your misgivings, that says you cannot express your protest at any point in time? There's no law that stops us from protesting. So we are only exercising our rights under the law.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ologbondiyan. You've heard from the former National Publicity Secretary, and he says they are very hopeful that the INEC chairman would review the results, which of course was their initial demand even while the collation was going on, asking the INEC chairman to review the result even before the collation ended. But the INEC chairman went on with the collation of results and of course declared the winner of the election, and then subsequently the certificate of return was given to the APC candidate, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But the party seems to be optimistic that INEC should do and will do the right thing. You can see young men. I tell you, there are young men here, not just old people, but young men carrying placards. Some of them, saying that we say no to injustice and fraud. We say no to injustice and fraud. Our vote must count. These are some of the many write-ups you see the people carrying here. And of course, they have their umbrella, the PDP umbrella, to also shield them from the scorching heat of the sun. Millicent.
Indeed, also what the party stands for. Emperor Simon, thanks. We will be touching base with you. He is there at the FCT, where the leadership of the PDP is leading the protest to INEC. Many thanks. Well, let's take you to another group that is happy with the presidential elections and National Assembly elections just concluded in Kogi State. The coordinator of Professional Women APC Council, Kogi Central, they've charged elected politicians to prioritize women empowerment to complement the efforts of Governor Yahaya Bello in reducing poverty in the state. Mrs. Rekiat Sani stated this at Okene during a thank you road walk organized by the Women Professional body.
These are APC Professional Women Council from Kogi Central. They all converge on the Okene Local Government Secretariat premises, praying in their local languages for the President-elect, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and Senator-elect in Kogi Central, Abubakar Ohere, and the Governor, Mr. Yahaya Bello. With prayers over the Professional Women Council in their thousands, they took a walk round Okene Township, dancing and thanking everyone who voted the All Progressives Congress Party in the last Saturday election. While they also used the opportunity to urge the people to also vote for the party in the coming Saturday elections. In an interview, the state coordinator for APC Professional Women Council, Mrs. Rekia Sani, she says the large turnout during the presidential and National Assembly elections was an indication that women in Kogi Central appreciate the Governor Bello result-oriented government.
We just want to a bit play down on the gender sympathy card that is being thrown around in the Kogi Central. Why? Because the story of the fact that it's been looked as if His Excellency does not like gender, or he's not gender sensitive. It's a very big lie. Yahaya Bello is very, very gender sensitive governor. If he had gone as far as giving appointment to a minimum of 120 women appointees currently in the state, it shows that he is very, very gender sensitive. I'm an example of a woman that is being trusted with a very sensitive office. That's Kogi Enterprise Development Agency. And all the women that have been given this trust are not doing bad in that, various positions.
They also enjoined women to support the current administration of Yahaya Bello to enable it to deliver more dividends of democracy to the people of the state.
We are thanking the women for the way they came out en masse to elect all the APC candidates in the last election, starting from our president, senator, and House of Rep. We are also telling them to please continue to start by the fact. The fact is voting a credible candidate. So we are telling them, come out on Saturday, elect the House of Assembly, APC candidates across Central, then we can have a good representatives across Nigeria.
The Professional Women Council promised to mobilize women heavily for the governorship election.
Well, let's head to the southeast, where the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Abia State, Mr. Alex Oti, has debunked claims by some opposition parties that his government, if elected, has plans to slash the salaries of workers, sack civil servants and sack traditional rulers. According to Mr. Oti, such speculation is not true. He says it's baseless and unfounded. He stated this during a meeting with members of the Labour Party and supporters of the party in Ibeku, Umuahia North local government area of the state.
First thing is to thank them for voting P2B last Saturday, and also encouraging them that just like our presidential candidate has said, he will recover his mandate. There's no doubt about that. The next message is that Saturday, 11th of March, they should complete what they have started by voting Labour Party all the way, so that we will take over Abia State and begin the process of rebuilding Abia State that has been devastated by 24 years of poor governance.
We have more political stories when we return after this break. Welcome back to the program. Well, joining us to talk more about some of the political stories making the rounds today is Mr. Kunle Lawal. He's Executive Director, Electoral College, Nigeria. He joins me virtually. Welcome to the program.
Good day, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Great. First, I'd like to get your thoughts on what you make of the protests we're seeing in the Federal Capital Territory. Leadership of the People's Democratic Party taking their voices, making their voices heard as to what happened in the last elections, calling it a fraud. What do you make of that?
I think it's only fair that people exercise their very, very constitutional rights, especially in a situation where, of course, there were some promises made, like electronic transmission of results, which are totally where it's done, which totally wasn't done. Secondly, was a few other parameters within the INEC guidelines, which INEC didn't stick to. I think at this position, you would understand that they will feel as candidates, or the electoral process as defined by INEC was not to the game. And of course, if the game feels slightly tampered at that point, then it will mean clearly that the game is not as projected.
Calling for the INEC chairman to resign, do you think that is going too far or just that?
Well, you can't compartmentalize how people respond to being unfairly treated, especially when something is being promised. Do I think it's a little far-fetched to mention the INEC chairman being relieving his position? Yes, I think so. But it also means that at a point where it seems to be that there is a subversion of the will of the Nigerian people, then I think everybody in office must be held to account.
The INEC chairman, in a meeting with resident electoral commissioners, did admit there were some issues, technology, delay by election officials, attitude of even political party agents. But he also said that, those who are responsible, who were involved would face disciplinary actions. Isn't that reassuring?
You could say it's reassuring, but when you understand, you've lived in this country, you've been seen elections across different divides. Like, let's say you've been part of elections or walking through the democratic space from 1999 till present. It will become clear that this is just, the common election tale or election fable being sold and being promised, and issues remain the same. Till we start to deal decisively with matters in electoral cases, I don't think we're going to have anything different. We've seen the Electoral Act come up with have very stringent laws on people that try to vote by or people that try to alter any particular election. But what exactly has been done, who exactly has been convicted, and who exactly has been dealt with is yet to be seen by the Nigerian people. So we just feel he's blowing a loud trumpet and nothing else.
What are your expectations as we head to the polls this Saturday? Do you think that we are in some sort of quagmire? And this is with regards to those who feel, who are not confident in the process, which we will be witnessing on Saturday.
Well, with what I've seen as regards what happened on February 25th, I would say I wished INEC can take into consideration, because I'd rather be solution-driven at this point. I wish that INEC could take into consideration staggered elections, I don't think our security forces of 400,000, which were deployed on February 25th, are enough to secure elections across the country. So I'd love to see a staggered election with 6 states averagely. Secondly, I would like the INEC to adopt this, and it might seem a little pushing them, but I think a ballot paper should be typed electronically to a voter. So you can't alter results. And in situations where we feel TPEX was being used or funny other methods were being used to alter result sheets, we can always go back to the ballot paper and request exactly what happened. These are things that I think will work. But I know that INEC will be, after the fallout of February 25th, will be trying to do quite a lot in the gubernatorial elections. But it's yet to be seen. I'm really looking out for flashpoints like Lagos State and Rivers State, which were bones of contention during the February 25th elections. I would like to see how INEC and security agencies respond to that.
We'd like to thank you for weighing in on this. Mr. Kuni Lawal is Executive Director, Electoral College, Nigeria. Many thanks.
Thank you very much.
We go to other stories now. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Rauf Aribishola, is asking the President-elect, Mr. Bola Tinubu, to see his victory as an opportunity to consolidate on the infrastructure development of the All Progressives Congress administration. In a recent statement, he said the victory also offers a great opportunity for Nigeria to regain its place of leadership in Africa and the black race. While congratulating Mr. Tinubu, he adds that the unity of Nigeria should be seen as uppermost to the president-elect. The minister asks all Nigerians to support the incoming government to enable it achieve success. Well, last week, the Supreme Court extended the validity of the old 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira notes till the 31st of December this year. However, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged the President Muhammadu Buhari, to reveal plans his administration is taking to obey the recent Supreme Court order on the Naira redesign. Well, joining me to talk more about this is Professor Joshua Alabo. He's a professor of jurisprudence. Professor, thank you for joining me on the program. But first, I'd like to get your thoughts on the news we're seeing in the Federal Capital Territory where you are, the protests of the PDP, leadership of the PDP at the INEC headquarters.
It's a very commendable issue because it's a litmus test to ascertain the integrity of our judicial process, which some of us feel that INEC has incrementally improved over the time. And one thing about this election is that none of the parties agree on one thing. If a PDP is a victim of electoral malpractice and somebody that is from APC say that there's a rigging in Oju, local government that an SSC holder compel a professor to unilaterally allocate figures, you see that the person that supports Obedient or PDP will be, APC will be attacking whoever make that statement. To that extent, some of us are not even too proud to be using the title of professor. We have preferred to revert to some of our titles like His Royal Majesty, Right Honorable Joshua Alobo. So that because if an SSC can compel a professor to write a result, then it shows that there's a lot of problem. I earlier say on Tuesday, while the live collation was ongoing in the studio for 2 hours, that I can only speak as to the integrity of the result of our local government where I supervise, where 2 polling unit results were cancelled because of overvoting.
But Professor
the issue
Labo,
that is in the public domain, we do respect, is the failure of the stakeholder, PDP, APC, and Labour to do the needful at the polling unit, and they're shifting the blame to INEC, which is unreasonable with all sense of responsibility. If everybody determine the vote that remitted from the polling unit that is not in compliance with the beavers, they won't be having this problem that we're having. Because the Electoral Act mandate every the agent and the returning officer at the ward that once there's overvoting, even if it's one, the election stand cancelled. So if we have gone to that extent, there won't be any problem. But now that they feel aggrieved, you know, the essence of this aggrievance is a wrong misinterpretation is in the public domain as to what constitutes 1/3 of 24 states. Of the 36 states and FCT.
Indeed.
People have given erroneous
but Professor, this protest that we're seeing in Abuja,
FCT, that is where there's a lot of problem.
Does it vitiate their going to court with this protest that's happening? Does that also vitiate the fact that, you know, they're taking this matter to the Electoral Tribunal?
Yes, that is the appropriate venue to ventilate grievance when there's election dispute. This is one of my work on jurisprudence of election petition, 814 pages. Since all Nigeria have the richest electoral jurisprudence in Nigeria. There are a lot of cases have been resolved. Once there's an election that has been pronounced, INEC does not have that power to review any longer. Even though Section 65 of the Electoral Act give INEC power to review, but any attempt to review without subjecting to the judiciary, it will be a call for anarchy. Look, the tension is so much. A PDP is claiming that they have won. Labour is claiming that they have won. In such instance, we need an unbiased empire that can ascertain who is actually the winner. And the law is quite right. Once election has been conducted, within 21 days, file your petition, upload all your evidence, and the court, because of the P2B, I say, is a man of destiny. He's the one that has changed the face of electoral jurisprudence.
I've just been told that we have a minute before we wrap up the show, and I need you to get in a word on the Naira redesign policy, and that's the latest judgment we saw on Friday. If you can, just wrap up your thoughts on that.
Very well. I happen to be the first person that instituted the action against the CBN governor and the CBN and Attorney General to the extent that the deadline was a result on undue hardship. And some persons thought that because I'm a face of Emiloko, that I support Emiloko, that is why we are trying to defend that matter. And as God will have it, I put a call to some person that can go and challenge this matter in the Supreme Court, because already there was a conflicting judgment from FCT not to extend the deadline. Now the reality is before us. I was in a filling station by 6 o'clock. They say it's only people that have cash, NNPC filling station, that can be attended to. With POS have to wait till almost 3 o'clock. This is a printed copy of from that filling station NNPC, because the server, according to them, the network was not functioning. Shema filling station in Asokoro, I was there as early as 8 o'clock yesterday just to ascertain how workable is this cashless policy. They said they're only attending to people with cash. DSS were there. Who were the people that have cash? You know, those that sell black market. So what we're trying to say in essence is that, is this a good policy? His implementation is wonderful. Even the Labour Party saluted because we have got a cashless victory. So nobody can accuse any political party that because of the money that they release that make Tinubu to win or any particular thing. So whatever the Supreme Court have done is in the interest of the people, but let the people suffer the hardship so that they will benefit. When some of us as activists are talking the overriding interest of the people, you know that it's not because of vested interest.
We'd like to thank you.
I stay in the filling station till 4 o'clock. So everybody will know that Nigeria is moving to a better destination. At the end of the day, we can applaud the administration. That's what I would say.
We appreciate your time. Many thanks. Professor Joshua Alabo, a guest on Lunchtime Politics. Thanks for joining us.
Grateful.
Well, you've been served on Lunchtime Politics. It's just about 4 days to the governorship and state assembly elections. Another opportunity to cast your ballot. Let's chat on our social media platforms. Thank you for watching. I'm Millicent Nwaka.